One time I was watching this music licensing podcast, and the gentleman being interviewed, who was the guy who ran a music library, and he was talking about, just the amount of sacrifice and struggle independent artists are required to make to get into the music licensing business. He made no bones about it. This is very difficult. It's going to take a huge grind. You're going to spend most of your hours outside of work on it and so forth. And I remember the interview saying, well, it sounds like quite a bit. It sounds like if you've got a family and you've got a job and to pursue this, it's going to be pretty challenging. Well, the gentleman wasn't having it. He basically stopped him in his tracks and said, hey, you know what? That makes you feel better, fine. But you know what your alternative is? Your alternative is to continue showing up to a job that you hate the rest of your life, which he says, and very understandably, is a terrible trade-off. So for him, it was worth it. We talked about how he had scraped and clawed his way into the business, and it wasn't easy, and it took a long time. But the payoff is now he gets to show up to a job that he loves, which is worth every bit of it. So this is, extremely inspiring to me, because I know that sometimes when you're pursuing something, pursuing dreams, pursuing goals, it can get overwhelming in terms of the amount of time that it takes, really. I mean, it's like, it's hard to justify giving up nights and weekends and time that you could just be chilling and enjoying in order to pursue something that really has no guarantee. I mean, you might make it, you might not. And you see that the vast majority of people actually don't end up succeeding. So you figure, well, maybe I'm just wasting my time. But the people that have succeeded, for them, it was worth every bit of it. I mean, if you're going to work for many years, many decades, you might as well at least try to get into a job that you like. I mean, there's no guarantee, but, it's at least worth a shot. If there's something that you really want to do, that is going to take a lot of effort and time, just go ahead and do it. The worst that can happen is you can fail. You can get to a point where it's not working out, and you can say, well, at least I pursued it. And that's something that, when you get older in life and you look at what's important, I think one of the things that's really important to us is just knowing that we at least gave ourselves a chance. You can say, hey, maybe I didn't succeed, but I gave myself one hell of a chance, which is more than a lot of people would have done. Other people would have preferred to make excuses, talk about how the sacrifice is not worth the payoff and this and that and the other. But that wasn't me. I was the guy that was just going to go all in, give myself a chance, and then if it failed, it failed. But at least in the end, I could say, I didn't make excuses. I wasn't in that category. Like for me, I personally have wanted to be a professional songwriter for many years. It hasn't really worked out. I've got some songs licensed that I've made a few dollars, but the pursuit is well worth it, because for one, you're doing something that you love, so it's not a complete waste, even if somebody doesn't like your work. At least you enjoyed the process. At least you were immersed in the artistic, creative process that you find so deeply rewarding. So in that respect, there's really nothing you can lose. So, so anyway, I just wanted to say a few words of encouragement. If there's something that you're interested in, go on and don't make the excuses. Do like the gentleman said. Take that chance of being able to be in a job that you love for the rest of your life. And so a lot of times we can use our job as a motivator. And I think that's one of the problems, that sometimes people get caught up into this idea that, well, my job's not so bad, it's paying the bills, it's getting me along, it's not horrible. And I think that's unfortunately a situation that keeps people really from pursuing. It's the people who are generally miserable, who are generally just disgusted. Those are the ones who usually are willing to make the sacrifice to make it in whatever they want to pursue. So yeah, it can be difficult. But I say if there's something you want to do, just pursue it. Whether you're miserable in your job or not, maybe it can at least become a side income for you, and that would be pretty fantastic as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in.